So I guess you all here to see how to make your own DEF CON Black badge, right? So yeah, you got to do it yourself, otherwise it's not going to happen. We're going to blow by the agenda because we have 70 slides in 1 hour. I'm going to introduce ours. We're DC503 from Portland, Oregon. That's Jesse. Jesse, raise your hand. He's the human computer. Kenny, he really is good at pick and place. Mike, senior troubleshooter. Maker, troublemaker. Sorry, this Maker's Mark is really good. And you should introduce everyone else.
All right, this is Mickey. Mickey is Israeli, but he's actually the least Israeli person I know. And this is Joe. Joe used to work for Intel, but he's reformed now. And then there's Dean. Raise your hand, Dean. Dean is the bricker of all things. Don't let him touch your stuff.
I'll be doing most of the talking. Mike's his first time speaking at DEF CON, so let's have him a good welcome here. Thank you. Anyone here is their first DEF CON? Raise your hand. Holy shit. Okay. Never mind. There's a tradition in DEF CON for years that if it's your first time speaking at DEF CON, the goons come by, they give you a shot of Jack Daniels, and you take a shot. But unfortunately, this year you cannot do that. The goons have been barred from it. We have our own, so Mike, your first DEF CON talk. For the record, this booze has been bought in this hotel. Okay, oh. You have animated GIFs and stuff. So, why make a black badge anyway, right? Like, what's the point? You spend a lot of money, countless hours. For what? For the lulz, right? We did it. We want to do it. I guess all y'all stood in lines, right? We don't want to stand in lines. No one likes lines. Plus, Lost said it was impossible. And we kind of like to prove the opposite of people. And, well, we wanted to do it anyway. It was a nice challenge. So this talk is going to be divided into 3 parts because we did 3 badges. We did DEF CON 22, and then we did a DEF CON 14, and then the 23 was the last one. And it's going to be weird because 22, 14, 23, bear with us. How this all started is an interesting story. We just ended after DEF CON 22. We come home, and we open whatever open source schematics released from Lost, and it's amazing. It's the human badge, and we saw the Uber badge, and they're almost identical. We're like, holy shit. We can do this. We can make a copy. What do we need? So we downloaded all the files. We played around with it. And we kind of know Eagle. If you don't know what Eagle is, you're lucky. And plus, we know Lost. We love him. He's a great guy. And we wanted to surprise him with one of our donation to his work. That's the page in Parallax Forums where it's located at. Oh, really loud.
So I've been using Eagle for like 15 years, which is the only reason I don't use KiCad is because there's like learning curve. And so Lost or whoever designed the badge used DipTrace, which is a software program that makes stuff. And I'm like, hey, it has an export to Eagle function. I know Eagle. That's a whole lot easier than using like a software I don't know. Has anybody ever designed a PCB before? If you can imagine a paint program that doesn't do what you tell it to do, that'd be fucking frustrating, wouldn't it be? That's what EDA tools, that's what board design tools are like. I'm like, okay, I know Eagle, we can export to Eagle, we'll go down that path, we tried that, and yeah, it was just a mess. So we went back, and then Mickey had tried to open up this program DipTrace, which is Windows software.
I think we tried it on OS X, Windows, and Linux.
Yeah. And all I could get it to do was run it on Linux, which is basically running under Wine. So I ran the Windows version on Linux, and it worked. So whatever. So we had that software, and basically we took, it's the same schematic, the same layout and everything. What we had to add to it was all the bits and pieces. I won't spill on you guys, you're farther away. I've already spilled once today. Dip trace. Yeah, dip trace is an interesting set of software. So basically we changed the outline of the badge. The circuit was the same. We had to add a bunch of artwork to it. I think the next slide.
The next slide,
is going to have something on it.
See, what you see here, that is days to weeks of Googling.
Yeah.
So we have, by the way, that's a public picture of the black badge. So everything we went on was a public picture of the black badge. For the 22, we had no access to a real one.
So what's really cool is you look at these badges and you see all those pins on either side. Those are 0.1-inch headers. So if you're trying to scale something, you can use those points as like really good indicators of what sizes. So basically taking that, we could take this photograph. It was at an angle. We could orient it properly. We could actually get like millimeter precision to where every single silk screen and every single like metal area on that board was. Yeah, and Mickey did all the artwork stuff, and he sits there in MS Paint like pushing buttons. So
Paint.net.
Paint.net, whatever.
Is an open source.
Windows something.
It's a really cool tool to use. We were sitting in the 503 hackerspace, the Control H one in Portland, and Joe has this technique of measuring on screen. He takes a piece of paper and he puts it on the monitor and he measures it, and then he does this, and then that's the spot where it needs to go.
I'm not the only one, I swear.
He swears it's legit. I don't know. Anyway, so we have this picture. It's public. Where the hell do I get that Uber font? Open Google, free fonts. Open 1001 free fonts. Show me 100 results at a time, and I type in, I want to see how you show Uber in that font. I go page by page until I find something similar, and I found the exact font for that.
Actually, I wrote an AI image recognition program that found the font and searched all of them automatically. I just didn't want to tell you.
I hate you, Joe.
You know that's a joke.
Wait, I haven't even gotten into Korean yet. The next up is the skull. So I spent like 2 months looking for that skull. I took a picture of it with my phone, with my camera, high res as I can, cropped it out, did reverse image search, nothing helped. And then I thought, it's a PCB, maybe it's inversed. So I inverted the colors and I found the image, and that's the skull and bones on the left. I actually had to literally Google skull and bones, image search, and page by page until I found that alien skull and continued from there. The Korean is interesting. I kind of hate Lost for that, because in Korean, when you type a letter, it's weird because you type another letter and it changes the word. I don't know. It's like that little tiny man dancing in the top there, the top right, the one-legged man, the one-legged devil. That's like 4 characters together, and if you type the wrong one, it has he has 2 legs, and then he has 1 arm, and it took me hours to figure out the right combination for that.
I thought those were a bunch of like transistors or something. I couldn't figure them out.
For the 23, it was easier. I just asked a friend to ask his Korean friend to tell us what it says. I should have done that to begin with. And we ended up with this. So this is the Gerber for the DEF CON 22 Black badge.
So if I've made a board before, you have the schematic. The schematic is all the circuits and where what connects to what. The layout is where you go and place the components in relation to each other, and place the routes where everything goes. But still, like, that's not the file format that the board manufacturer is going to want. They want a Gerber, which is kind of like a CAD organizing format. It's all text, but figuring out how to extract Gerbers from dip trace is pretty interesting because they have like 101 options. Basically, I can't remember. This is the one that they want you to like use their service to order boards?
Yeah, you want Gerbers, pay us money.
Yeah, you want Gerbers, pay us money, but you just check the right boxes. You can actually get Gerbers out of them, and you have to check the right boxes over and over again and do it 100 times, and or write a script to do it. If you don't like doing stuff manually.
And after we have the schematic, we have the layout. We have the silk screens that go on the badge. We need to figure out the parts. So comes the part of the bomb where we laid it on Dean. We have a picture of the speaker badge we had from 22 because we give a talk at 22, and we put numbers on each component on a high-res picture, send it to Dean, and then said, Dean, figure this shit out.
So let's see. This microphone works? Okay, we're good. So I'm not good with Korean or Eagle, so this is what I got stuck with doing. They put a bunch of numbers on the boards, and we had the bill of materials, which they call bombs, which is scary. So we had the bomb from the Parallax website, and we didn't necessarily know where all the components went. And so I went through, and where all the orange dots are, I verified with the multimeter that this is the actual component that we think it is, because there's a bunch of different resistors of different resistances that are just kind of... What? Oh, okay. Is this better? Yay.
Move forward.
Okay, I pulled this thing as far as... Okay, we're good.
I was talking to them, Dean.
Swallow the mic. Okay,
Yeah.
we're good. God damn it. Yeah, so there's all these orange dots everywhere, and so I spent a long time going through with the multimeter and making sure that each component was the component that I thought it was from the list of components that exist, just so that we knew that the right things were in the right places. And there were some differences, like the colors of some of the black badge LEDs are different than the colors of the human PCBs that we had, and there's strange differences, even what kind of resistors that you need in those situations and whatever. Yeah, so it was fun and exciting, and I did stuff with electricity and probably broke some stuff.
I'm sorry, I promised Case I'll call him up for a shot on stage.
Yay.
Take it, take it, take it. Sorry for that interruption. Yeah, way to go, Case.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, you're done.
So after we did all that stuff, we had all the parts. It came time to order the boards, and there's a lot of variables you can get when you order boards, and there's a lot of places you can order them from, and then some of them are expensive and some of them are cheap. If you actually want something specific, it's expensive. It's really expensive. But if you're kind of you have low standards, like me, it's really easy. You just find the cheapest place that ships your boards from China, and so there's this place I've used regularly, and they always ship pretty quickly when I get bulk orders, and they have just the right finish, so the right color of black and the right shininess of the black. So we decided to go with them, and we ordered a first run of boards, and what you see there is the first run, and we looked at it, and there's a couple things that you might notice if you're Mickey and you're really, really very attentive to detail or something like that. So you see there's the headers of pins on each side, the left and right on the front of the badge. There's a little white outline around them, and you'll notice it's a tiny bit too low, right? And you look at the Korean text on the very bottom, and it touches all the way to the bottom of the badge, which wasn't the case in the original badge. The other thing is the spacing of the numbers on the back was a little bit off. Does anybody see any other differences that they might notice? Does anybody notice the dick butt underneath the chip? Yeah. So if you're ever not really sure whether it's legit or not, just take off the CPU, and if there's a dick butt there, it's real, and if it's not, then it's fake, okay? And actually, there's something I wanted to say. I know I don't say this in talks, but cyber. Cyber. Cyber.
Take a
cyber.
shot. Take a shot.
Threat. Threat, 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 threat. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, the lot number, Joe.
What more?
You forgot the lot number.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot number. Where is it? On top or left?
Top
Top or the
left.
B on Uber, there's a lot number. So, cheap place, they don't speak much English, but they send me boards quickly, so I usually don't worry. Is that on the next one, next slide?
Yeah.
So we got a second run. We fixed all those things. The hard part is, does that mean we need to move our silk screen up a little bit, or is it just the tolerance of the ones we made? I think we moved it up half the difference.
And it's also the thickness of the boards they use. Remember, the first batch we got was thinner, really thin.
So we got we used a non-standard thickness. I believe.
And it was like, sorry, that's what we got.
I don't remember, but then we chose a thicker one, and it was better. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever floats your boat. So what we did, I also asked them, and this was tough with the language barrier, but they managed to put the lot code on the back. So when they do these boards, we're not ordering 20,000 boards like Lost does. We're ordering a few, number to not be disclosed. And So, special requests don't really come well. They put these on a panel with a whole bunch of other people that are making their own fake black badges. And we don't want that panel, so we put a little box on the back. You see on the left side, there's a little white box. Inside that, I asked them 8 times to put the lot code in there, and they said, oh yes. And, then I asked them again, and they said, sure. And then they finally did it, which was great, so whatever. So that actually gets concealed by the battery. So the other thing, if you ever want to find out if it's real or not, look underneath the battery and look for that lot code. And yeah, if it's under there, then it's real.
So now we have the boards, we have the silk screen, everything is ready. Now the next stage is manufacturing. So these are 0402s, right? 0603. 0603s. Not that terrible. 0603 means 0.6 of them. No, 6 millimeters by 3 millimeters.
0.06 inches by 0.03 inches.
Oh, sorry, I don't do freedom units.
So these are actually kind of big. If you do a whole lot of surface mount work, then this is a very convenient size. Into the mic even more. Hello. Thank you, Kearney. How's this working for you? Is this good?
Oh, yeah.
Deeper?
Okay.
No, okay. I don't know if my voice goes much deeper. So, as I was saying, these are the big ones. These resistors here, 0603s, they're actually a very convenient size if you're making a small project by hand. Work with 0603s, they're pretty great. These are very carefully organized. That is not my work. I'm usually very fast and just throw the things on the boards. But it's kind of a hassle to pull all the parts out of the bags and put them on the board, so having a helper is fantastic. And I was lucky enough to have Jesse as my helper, who is amazing, meticulous, and a machine. And he aligned all of these resistors for me so that I could more rapidly place them on the boards. It was fantastic.
So Jesse was the pick and Kenny was the place?
So here we have an Uber badge. Actually, there are 5 of them just barely visible inside the toaster oven. This is actually a reflow oven that I had access to at a lab. And the process here is fairly simple. The idea is we use some lasers, we use some caustic chemicals, not nearly as caustic as yellow cake, but hey, we have our own fun. So first pass is to take some of those Gerbers that have what's called a stencil or a solder paste mask and build a stencil. And the stencil is, we were just using parchment paper, laser cut with a pretty standard laser cutter that you'll find at a lot of hacker spaces, and lay that over each badge and just sort of squeegee on some solder paste. And then you have the solder paste in all the right places, and you just lay the parts on top of it. Pretty easy and straightforward.
If you need to, you can also use one of those laminated paper human badges, as a stencil, if you want to use for it.
Yeah, what else are you going to do with that thing? Well, get into some talks, I guess. So, it's just kind of a time-consuming process. You put the solder paste on, you put a whole bunch of parts on, and then throw it in the oven, and pops out, and it's ready to go. Solder on a few more components, like the battery holder, because you can't do that in the oven, and power it on and see what's broken. Usually, when you take it out of the oven, there are going to be some problems that you'll have to fix. A few solder bridges on the finer pin spacing parts, and just go back through with some solder wick and a little bit of flux, and it's not too bad. So this is something that I do for a side gig. I just build tiny stuff. I also unbuild tiny stuff. So if you have a sniper rifle and you want to get the flash off of it, let me know. That's one of the things I do. But don't be afraid of this. Surface mount soldering for a lot of people seems really challenging, a lot to learn, and oh man, my hands aren't steady enough. I hear so often, oh gosh, I'm terrible at soldering from people at the hacker spaces, but it's really not too bad if you take some time to figure out the techniques. There are a few things that will help a lot, mostly figuring out how to stabilize your hands. If you're just holding your arm out, it's not going to be very stable. If you rest your wrists on the table, it'll be a lot more stable. Simple tricks like that go a long way. Try it out. Start with a simple project like a good fet. It only has a few parts on it. It's pretty easy.
Right. And once we had the badge, by the way, this is it. It's working. This is a fake one. It works. It blinks. We did flash it with the human badge firmware because we didn't have the Uber badge firmware or any other firmware. But it's passable, right? Okay. So we got the badges, we get the DEF CON, and we're like, what do we do with this?
But did it work?
And Mike,
But did it work?
It worked. Yeah. we got through black badge registration. Sorry. Anyway, so a few days go by into DEF CON. You know, there's the EFF badge contest, and Mike is like texting me in the Saturday noon. You know, it's like 4 a.m. for a DEF CON attendant, and like, there's a badge contest happening right now. Get your ass over here. I run over there, and we won it. We won the badge hacking contest for the black badge. And here's a couple of cool shots. This is a real one next to a fake one. So anyone want to guess which one is the real one? Yell it. Left is the real one? If you think the left one is the real one, raise your hand. If you think the right one is the real one, raise your hand. Yeah. The right one is the real one. We have a short video of them working side by side. We had a participant in that contest that had a DEF CON 22 black badge. He ran to his room, brought it back, and we come on, play it. Okay, and we had them side by side. What you will see is the Uber badge communicating with supposedly a human badge from where? Through IR. It works. That is the closest we get to a demo at this talk. Now, why did we do the DEF CON 14 badge to begin with is an interesting story. So you might have noticed Mike hasn't said anything. Well, because we were all doing the 22 and Mike was like, I want in. And we were like, you know what, everyone's doing something and everyone's covering practically everything, so we need you to do something, to contribute. Let's do another badge.
We're done with everything on time, and we need a last-minute project. So maybe you can help us out with that.
Oh, yeah. So
When does
this
this ever
is the
happen?
whole story by itself, which is going to be hilarious. So me and Mike worked on the 14. By the way, this is the only picture I found online from DEF CON 14.
How many hours did you look for that on Google?
I am the Google image master.
Master what?
So why do the 14 anyway, right? Because Joe Grand, he's from Portland. We love him. If you ever met Joe Grand, you know he's the sweetest person ever. And we wanted to surprise him, and it was, when we showed it to him, it was hilarious. He freaked out. He was like, "You did this in Eagle?" And yeah, that was really impressive. But we thought this would be the easiest badge to make. Not quite.
It's the easiest match to make, so Mike found the hardest way to make it.
Yeah. So the DEF CON 14 black badge was the human badge in black.
So that seems pretty easy, right?
Eat it. Eat the mic.
Just spray paint, right?
Yeah, that seems pretty easy, right? You just make another one just like that, but black, right? This is easy. Maybe it wasn't exactly so easy. Unlike the 22, they didn't just publish you anything, really. You had to find, a 14 badge. Fortunately, we had someone who had a 14 black badge, and we had a human badge. Raise your hand, Dean.
From Dean. Dean has a human badge. Jesse
Well, I guess
actually
Jesse has one too, yeah.
Jesse has 2 legit black badges, by the way. Two legit ones. I don't know about how many unlegit ones, but 2 legit ones.
Did we mention he's smart?
He's
fucking
smart.
smart.
Jesse's smart.
Watch out for this guy.
So, we took some measurements, and everything is on 22. We have the 0.1 inch headers, and things line up appropriately. And it seems like from photographs, you can kind of figure out what's going on. This microphone's off.
Drink.
So, it seems like this should be easy to do, but it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and they didn't know about maybe putting things on a grid. So, we worked from photographs, and so in order to get to the part where we had it on a PCB in the EDA on Eagle, We basically took photographs, scaled them. Mickey, like some sort of obsessed monkey, like traced them in MS Paint 95 or something at like 4,000 DPI. And you know what happens when you put like a 4,000 DPI bitmap into Eagle, the world's crappiest but free EDA software? It just explodes. So, okay, that wasn't going to work. And it doesn't really support any vector formats. So, okay, this is obvious what we need to do. We need to take from the photographs, make these high resolution bitmaps, trace those bitmaps into a vector format, simplify that vector format into a series of polygons, and then write a script that takes those polygons, does projection of them so that they are in the right place.
This sounds like a software solution to a hardware problem, Mike.
And then like import them into Eagle and hope it doesn't explode. And at least one time it did not explode. And then just go over and trace and trace and trace and trace. And we're like, okay, this is going to be easy. And then we discovered a quirk of Eagle. Well, it's free, but it has this weird thing that says like, the free version can't do anything over 80 millimeters by 100 millimeters. And, that's like in some EULA about, how you sign your life away. And I didn't read any of that. And so I just proceeded, and it lets you make the board that's this big, and it lets you place all the cutouts that's this big. But, it turns out that it won't let you place any components over 80 millimeters, and the badge is bigger than 80 millimeters. And this wouldn't have been too much of a problem, except for this was like probably, 3 days before con or something. And we're like, oh shit, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And, we can't call the CAD company and buy a real license because they're asleep and they're in Germany. What are we going to do? And we're like, oh, wait a minute. You only have to have it within 80 millimeters to place the components. So, and all the components are within 80 millimeters, so we can just do that. All we have to do is redo everything that we did before in terms of projecting all the things and placing all the things. So that's no problem. Okay, so we got our Gerbers in line, and we got that all worked out, and now all we have to do is have it made and assemble it. This is no problem, right? We're probably like, 2 days before con at this point. It's fine.
It was a really, really, like the week before, we were talking about, Mike, we need to find someone, it was a week before, and we need to find someone to make these in black. And
Yeah.
you'd think it'd be easy to find someone who makes these PCBs in black.
You need two things. I need PCBs that are black. Now, black is not green. And I need it like now. And I called every board house that I could in the U.S. Like, I need unspecified number of black PCBs, 2 cutouts, 1 ounce pour, blah, 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 black, black solder mask. Can you do that? Every single one was like, yes, we can do that. We'll have that to you tomorrow. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can. And then I would get a phone call, and I'm like, okay, here's all my money, because if you want boards tomorrow, that's expensive. Okay, here's all my money, and then they would call me back after they took my money about 2 hours later, and I'm hoping to get like, okay, you're going to give me a message that the boards have been fabbed. And they're like, what about green? and the first guy, I was like, that's not okay. Give me my money back. By like the 5th guy, I'm like, motherfucker. And the last guy called back and he said, well, what about green? And I was about to go on a really long swear-laden tirade with him. And he said, well, we can do black, but you have to buy the whole panel. And I thought, well, okay. that's kind of more than I'm maybe looking for, but okay, we can do that. And he said, this will make it, this will make it so there are no lot numbers on it, which is funny because we had talked for about half an hour earlier that day about having it have no lot numbers. But, it turned out pretty okay. This is, do we have a real one too?
No, this is a fake one.
This fake one? We don't, yeah, this is real.
Is it a real fake?
It's a real fake. Oh, I have it backwards. And,
Wait. Jesse, you have the real DEF CON 14 black badge, and you're wearing the fake one.
I'm only wearing the fake.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
so it looked pretty good. It turned out pretty well. There's the levels of success, like full Lagoon, full DT, full Joe Grand. We got pretty good. And, that's what the final image processing output looked like. And when we finally had it, fabricated. But you notice, like, in this story, I didn't tell you about, like, assembling it or anything. That was just to get a board in hand. So this is fine. It's just some soldering. We can do that really quick. We can do that really quick in our hotel room. So I brought my entire solder workstation to Vegas, and the night before con, we're feverishly soldering this up in our hotel room. And I think it worked out pretty okay. And like Mickey said, we said, oh my God, yeah, I saw, oh my God, they're having a. It works kind of. It works kind of. Okay, Mickey's reminding me that it works in the sense that you can. Win the badge pageant, and you can impress Joe Grand and full DT and full Goons, but, I don't know exactly what went wrong at 3 a.m. in my hotel room, but it didn't actually function. But,
How many components, Mike? How many
that.
components? How many components?
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Isn't that why you brought me up here, to shame all of you?
Well, less than 10. All right, here you
So funny story about the bomb for this badge. Can you hand me one? This badge has one button in the back of it. One. And in our fake badge, it's blue. You're shitting me, right? 10 minutes?
They do that on purpose.
10 minutes? It's 1:30. Okay, hurry the fuck up. Anyway, the button's blue. It was 10 years ago. They stopped making it. If you want to buy the white button where it's supposed to be, you have to pay like $20 a button, and we're like, no. Anyway, DEF CON 23. We go radioactive on this stuff. Okay, why would we do the 23? Because Lost said it was impossible, and we were like, we already did the PCB. Let's do something that's not electronic. It'll be fun. Why not? It's nuclear. So how do we do it? We wanted the triangles. Lost said, if you are unfamiliar with last year's black badge, it is called Captured Lightning in a plexiglass triangle, right? That what Jesse's holding up. The beautiful model is holding the. It's charged with millions of volts, and then some guy, I think Brett, comes and hammers it in a nail. It discharges, and it shows lightning inside. There's only one guy in the U.S. that does this. In the world that does this. He holds the patents, and that particular shape and size of triangle is no longer manufactured. That's the picture from their website, and that is, so the model was 14A and 14. This one was, the other one they had was the same size as the black badge, but was an inch thick. And you don't want a black badge. It's an inch thick. You give it to someone who's that goon or DT or Lost is going to be like, what is this shit? So we have to have the original, we need to have the original triangle, anything. So I emailed the guy, I'm like, okay, we got to do this. We have to, we're a bunch of makers from Portland. We want to make like triangles that light up with LEDs. Anyone here seen Portlandia? We kind of emailed him like that. We want to do I don't know, have fancy.
We're gonna put birds on it.
We're gonna put birds on it and pour beer, IPAs,
Craft beer.
craft beer, mini brewers. Okay, I'm hurrying. Where am I? Okay, so we really had to have that specific one. We had to put in a special order. The minimum order is, oh good, Lost is on his way. We had to put a special order in. So it was like, okay, minimum order is 10. We're like, we're not gonna be too suspicious. Give us 12. Because we know we're gonna fuck up at least one. Well, we guessed as much. And we're like, yeah, okay, when is it gonna be ready? And we put the order in at September, and he was going to go to the Super Particle Accelerator in December. Okay, we'll wait 5 months. Fine. So, an interesting story. During the email conversation, he's like, oh, you know, this specific model you're asking for was used by this guy at this DEF CON conference, and they were doing this nuclear crazy stuff. Like, check out this link. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's amazing.
Mickey, was that nuclear? Is that what-
Nuclear.
Nuclear.
Nuclear. English, not my first language.
Okay. Just checking.
I love America. Okay. So, I'm going. How do you deal with radiation? So, okay, I've never done this before. Lead pig. This is what this is called. This thing is like this big and it weighs a ton. Okay, go on eBay. I need a lead radiation container. Got it. I need uranium glass dipped marbles. I won the bid on that one. And I'm like, okay, what else do I need? I need a Geiger counter. Okay, Lost has a Geiger counter that costs like $1 gazillion. I'll show you a picture later. And I'm like, I'm poor. I'm gonna go on eBay and I'm gonna find the cheapest one I can find. So I'm like, okay, it has to be Russian. And because Russians are good with radiation. And it has to be cheap, so I found one for like $60. And I'm like, oh my God, this is steal, because this specific model is like $250 minimum. Like the whole length of this is a Geiger tube. And I go, what's the catch? It has only Russian. The interface is only in Russian. Like, okay, I looked online. It was like, probably the guy's an idiot. He can't change the language and the settings. I'll buy it. No, it's hard-coded in Russian. Good thing I know Russian, kinda. But it's really amazing when this thing glows red in Russian. Like, holy shit. So we got the uranium marble. I'm hurrying. We have 5 minutes. You serious? It's 1:40. Anyway, we got the uranium marbles. We got tritium, right? Lost ordered tritium. He got it in. Here's Lost. Hey! So we have this deal. Every year we do the fake badge. We give a copy of it to DT, one to DT and one to Lost. And he checks the... This one's for you, brother, and this is for you to check the quality and oh, he is already wearing a competitor's black badge.
So, yeah. So these are both fakes. So I'm going to have a battle of the fakes. And I'm going to see who does the best forgery. But this guy does awesome.
I got like 5 minutes. Okay. So we got the tritium. I'm like, okay, I am a foreign national in the U.S. and I'm faking a nuclear black badge. Who do I know who's a citizen? Dean, you order the yellow cake uranium.
Yeah.
You know what?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. These guys do the NSA playset. I'm like, you're on a list
Has
somewhere.
anyone
I
been
don't
on-
care.
Has anyone been on UnitedNuclear.com? Anyone know that website? Raise a hand. Yeah. Has anyone bought anything from it? Yeah. They accept PayPal and they ship really quickly, and it's like giant lasers and all sorts of crazy crap. But yeah, that's fun.
I have to ask, Mickey, did your tritium vials come in packaged in fake coffee packages like mine did?
I hoped for it, but no. I had Jesse order 8 of them.
We need to compare sources then, because mine came and it was labeled, and they had taken coffee and opened it up and sealed them inside, so it looked like I was getting Folgers.
We were like, okay, we're not going to order from a Colombian drug lord like Lost. We are going to, again, I'm like, okay, eBay, tritium vial. I think it's blue. Order. Please don't arrest me. Please don't arrest me. I sent this picture to Lost. Anyway, this is the Geiger counter. This is one of the PR pictures you had for your badge.
I didn't take that picture.
And I remember 0.338 on the Geiger counter for the real Uber badge. And I had this on the fake, the fake badge and the Russian Geiger counter.
Is that standard or metric?
Yeah. Okay, I gotta hurry up. Okay, so the coin. The coin is the biggest challenge here. We had to fake the coin. So what do? We get high-res pictures, the front, the back, the front again. What do? Months.
MS Paint.
MS Paint.
.exe.
Again. And we get high-res. So 2 things that are distinctly different in this one. The font in the back of the coin, where I said, fuck it. I've spent months on the 22 Uber fonts. I'm not going to do it again. And the dick butt in the front.
Did you actually translate to Korean? Do you know what it says?
Wait for it. We have a slide for that. Funny story about Korean. So we got this thing. Anyone, if you know what 9gag is, raise your hand. Awesome. So we went on 9gag. Like, anybody knows what this says in Korean? Everyone was like, all hail Supreme Leader. And one guy said, the taffy salesman does whatever the fuck he wants.
So it's a Korean proverb. It says, "Yut jangsu mamdero," which means the guy who sells yut can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yes, exactly. And yut is taffy. It's Korean taffy. And
but it's a double entendre, because you tell someone to go eat yut is like, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. So we tried that, and I'm like, okay, some guy on the internet told me this means that. I'm like, no. Anyone I know knows anyone who knows Korean. And a coworker of mine, Topher, has a friend who speaks Korean. I'm like, Topher, ask your friend. But I'm not going to do this thing again when I type into Word documents in a Korean font, and I'm trying to guess which combinations of English letters cause that to look like a, look at the top right, the 3 and the 2, right? That, what is that? I don't know. I don't do Korean. And he sent me the Korean text in Gmail. I'm like, copy paste. I'm like, screw it. So, time, yeah. We're almost done. So how did it end up? We found out like a week ago. Jesse sends me an email. There's this guy on Reddit. Are you here, by the way, Robert? Come here. This guy. Comes up on Reddit, says, I present to you my Uber badge. And he made his own, which is awesome. Well, kudos, because, wow, I thought it was bigger. This is the first time I'm seeing this.
Yeah, so I didn't know
Come on.
how big the badge was. I didn't know how big the badge was supposed to be because I only had a picture of some guy holding it. So I assumed that guy's finger was as big as mine. That's how I set the CAD scale.
Did you have stubby fingers or long fingers?
This is the 3rd time people have done forgeries that are the wrong scale based on pictures like that.
But this is really good. The back of it is carved as well. This is really good.
And then the way I did the Leichenberg figure, or however it's pronounced, I took 2 1/4-inch pieces of acrylic, laser engraved it, painted it, put some clear epoxy on it, and then I just smashed it together with enough force to about make the acrylic explode, and then I cleaned up the edges.
Awesome job. The front and the back. And while we were doing the slides, because no one ever has, I know we're out of time. No one ever has the slides ready. As we were doing the slides, Mike comes to me and says, holy shit, did you see someone else fake the DEF CON badge? I'm like, a third party? Okay. And
By the way, people always ask me if I'm pissed about it. And Mickey will tell you, I always tell him, it's great, freaking keep doing it, man.
we were scared shitless the first time we did this. We're like, either we go out as the ones who fake the badges, or we get banned for life.
Nuclear badges. Come on, man.
It turned out well. So thank you, Jaeger, from the Council of 9. We corroborated the information we had with a legit black badge. But the assumptions at first...
I got one bomb to drop on you. There's
got
a
what?
hidden fiducial that nobody's found yet, or copied precisely, that only I know about.
There's one thing missing?
Gotta do it again.
Gotta do it again? Shit.
We're not doing it again.
So,
You're going to do this year's Uber, right?
did you check ours?
Did you say it was impossible to do?
Yeah, but I have to say that, right?
No. Okay,
Security theater.
We went last night to a party, and we had the winner of a social engineering black badge there last night, and we had the real one versus our fake, and ours looked cleaner. I'm sorry.
You know what I go through every year.
Yeah. So that's it. We're done. This is the last slide. This, and I have to embarrass Mike. Hold on. We will be taking questions.
Just not here.
Not here. No. The goons are kicking us out. Thank you.